Hello, welcome back to Critical Rocket once again. Another MechWarrior video today for the newly released Grasshopper. Doing this slightly differently than I have in the past for these kind of MWO videos, where usually I just have like a brief section where I'll sort of move the mech around a little and I'll show you like the configuration briefly and then go straight into the match. So I thought I'd actually talk a bit about what I did with the mech when I first got it. So straight off the bat, this is the Mech faction camo that I got as one of my choices for taking the resistance pack at its maximum detail. Changes I made: I did the standard upgrade things you have to do in MechWarrior Online, which is double heat sinks, and I did endo, steel structure, and kept the guidance as standard and left the armor as standard, so there's no ferro. Bumped the engine up to a standard 320 just to make up the weight, and added extra heat sinks, two doubles in there, one in each side torso and one in each arm to counter the heat generated by the mostly laser weaponries that the Grasshopper mounts, and the LRM ammo got an extra bump with some case as well to make up for it. The video though won't be focusing on this particular model, as I thought it would be best when we jump over that I would be running the resistance variant, which is a little different from the standard Grasshopper in the sense that it has a streak in the head instead of an LRM5, and it has an AMS system and actually drops a couple of the medium lasers from the mix, ups the large to an ER large, which you could argue this is a weaker default setup compared to the standard. This is going to be putting out far less damage, and in my opinion, tabletop streak makes sense. In this game, you're most likely going to rip out that streak too, because it's just not gonna. It's not going to have a great impact, especially if you don't have B equal probe standard. Since I don't mess with the equipment that comes in it, I'm keeping the AMS. So I've even added an extra half ton. I haven't upped the mediums to pulses or messed with that. I did mess with the engine. I put it up to a standard 340. Just it needs the speed. This has a 78.7 max speed. Again, endo steel structure, double heat sinks, and standard armor. Practically maxed out. I think the legs have 1 or 2 points off maximum. Doesn't quite reach the maximum jump height of this particular model. And yeah, a good heat management 1.4. It's not surprising, but it is. So yes, that is the build, and I'll see you over in the jump. Okay, thanks for bearing with me here. So I believe this drop was on the Mining Collective, a map I quite like, although I'm not very successful on. Yeah, so Grasshopper, 70 tonner, originally built for the SLDF way back in the 2700s. It was pretty much designed around the idea of scaring the shit out of enemy pilots by being a 70 ton heavy that can jump, hence the name Grasshopper. The mech focused mainly on having mostly laser weaponry, so it didn't need to rearm. And if people always talk about, oh, this is a good brawler design, oh, this is a good brawler design, this is a brawling mech. That's all this mech is built for. In the tabletop, that is exactly what its job was to get close and tear shit up. Primarily light and mediums was what it was mostly designed around, tackling and killing very quickly. Although this is the refit model during the clan invasion era of the 3050s. The standard one has the 4 mediums, as you saw before, with the large laser and the LRM5, whereas the resistance variant, or the clan invasion variant, dumps in a streak 2 and an ER large out for 2 mediums rather than 4, with an AMS system. So it's definitely a less, I don't want to say capable, because I'm sure in some players' hands it could be a very capable mech. It's just, it hasn't got that punch that you would want from a 70 tonner, basically. I could see a lot of people immediately ripping things like the Streak 2 out of the head. You know, maybe just dumping in a standard SRM2, because the direct firepower and not needing to lock is a huge benefit. It does have the extra energy slots, so you could, essentially you could rebuild this just to be the standard Grasshopper if you want. I mean, I think you could just put the LRM5 back in the head and just have 2 of the same standard chassis, if that's what you prefer, especially if you want to use this to farm C-bills, obviously, because of its extra C-bill bonus at the end of a round. I know a few people have been bothered about height with this mech. I've seen a couple of threads on the forums, people wondering about scale. I'm going to tell you now, people, there is no official scale for Battletech. Look at the fucking books. There is no height. And the closest we've got to scale, I know this is completely off topic for the video, but it kind of annoys me that some of these people start bitching about scale in something that has never had an accurate scale anyway. Look at the Ralpartha miniatures, and you will see that that's probably as close as scale as you get. I'm looking at some right now on my desk. The Centurion is almost the same height as an Atlas. I'm not going to bitch about that. You know, that there's any number of in-universe reasons for this, okay? So, just leave it. The height of the Grasshopper has zero fucking impact on its gameplay, okay? Let's face it. If the Grasshopper's against clans, you're going to be up against Laser Vomit at the moment anyway, so it doesn't make any friggin' difference. And if you're up against anything else, it's Daka. It's Daka or Gauss. So, let's not dance around this, folks. Anyway, that aside, the Grasshopper I quite like. The chassis is interesting. I know some people are going to say because it's a humanoid design. Yes, it's another humanoid mech, but it's a rather gangly and to use a term that I actually quite like, it's fugly. It is fucking ugly as far as mechs go. The cockpit, which you saw at the beginning, I think is a really, really, really well designed cockpit. Again, the modelers did a fantastic job. Making it just look sweet. You've got all the glass at the top so you can see right out from the top of the map, and if you look over onto the right of it you can see some of the internals for the missile launcher inside there, which is quite a nice touch. Also in this video you can see I'm getting this shit kicked out. I'm surprised I survived this. I almost stopped recording it until I looked at the top of the screen and realised we've got all the points, so if I can survive this, it could work. I also like this particular matches because it pretty much shows that it can take a lot of damage. I'm not sure whether that's down to hitboxes or whatever, because armor scaling is just you max it out. But this mech feels it feels rugged, it feels dependable. It's not gonna let you down in a fight, especially when it's pretty much, as I said earlier, it's designed for brawling. It's probably its downside is the fact that you're gonna have, I think, roughly 4 energy weapons in the arms, so that's gonna come back and haunt you. As soon as you lose the side torso, you lose a good chunk of your weaponry. You can have a weapon in the CT, so if you want something like an ER large or something, I'd stick it in there. Don't put it in the arms. Much like the Gargoyle, it's highly reliant on that left and right arm setup, and as soon as it loses it, it does suffer. From what I can tell, hitboxes seem fine. Its jump capability is very welcome. Again, it's a heavy mech with jump, so that's kind of rare. So it makes it quite mobile. It can get to places it normally wouldn't. A mech of its size normally wouldn't be able to get up. I haven't, in the few matches I've played, I haven't had a single issue with the size. It feels very similar to other mechs I've piloted. No particular advantages or disadvantages due to its sort of lanky height. If you don't like laser vomit builds, or if you've been running clan mechs for a while, this probably won't interest you much because you've already been running laser vomits. You can see how wrecked my mech is there at the end. Yeah, it's good if you like your laser builds, because you can't really build ballistics around this or even missiles. It just doesn't have the hard points. Yeah, one final look around the cockpit there. So I'd recommend it. 70-ton heavy. It's nice to finally have the heavies rounded out outside of the unseen chassis. I find it to be quite fun. It's with a bigger engine in it. You can get some really nice speed out of it. And yeah, the jump jets are welcome, and I think it's got a good hardpoint layout. So thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks to everyone who subscribed. Please rate, comment, tell me if I could do anything better, tell me if I'm doing fine. All is welcome, and I really like making these videos, guys, so thanks for watching. Chris the Rocket signing out.